Okay, Leviticus 23. Okay. I read something very interesting. Adonai said to Moshe, "Tell the people of Israel on the 15th day of this 7th month of the feast of Sukkot for 7 days to Adonai. On the first day, there is to be a holy convocation. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. For 7 days, you are to bring an offering made by fire to Adonai on the 8th day." What? Y'all know what I think about that one. "You are to have a holy convocation and bring an offering made by fire to Adonai. It is a day of public assembly. Do not do any kind of ordinary work. These are the designated times of Adonai that you are to proclaim as a holy convocation, and bring an offering made by fire to Adonai, a burnt offering, a grain offering, a sacrifice, and drink offerings, each on its own day, besides the Shabbats of Adonai, your gifts, all your vows, and all your voluntary offerings that you give to Adonai. But on the 15th day of the 7th month, when you have gathered the produce of the land, you are to observe the festival of Adonai 7 days. The first day is to be a complete rest, and the 8th day is to be a complete rest. On the first day, you are to take choice fruit. We're surrounded by fruit trees, right? Summer fruits are over. Winter fruits are on the trees. Okay. Check. Let's see what else we've got going here. Palm fronds. Fail. On the day I was going to go get a palm frond, the thing flew over, so we rebuilt it instead of going to get a palm frond. I think, well, okay, the intent was there. I don't have a palm. Oops. A palm tree. The frond is a, we would say a branch, but it's called a frond. They're heavy. Thick branches and river willows. Well, this is as close as I got to the river willow. And we have thick branches. Some say a myrtle tree. Okay? Are we under a Sukkot, a temporary dwelling? Okay, to the best of our ability. And celebrate in the presence of Adonai your God for 7 days. In his presence. Is he here?
Yes, he is.
Whether I feel like it or not. Right?
Yep.
Okay. You are to observe it as a feast to Adonai 7 days in the year. It is a permanent regulation. Generation after generation, keep it in the 7th month. You are to live in Sukkot for 7 days. Every citizen of Israel, are we citizens? We're grafted in. We're citizens of, do we call him Abba Father?
Yep.
So that generation after generation of you will know that I made the people of Israel live in Sukkot when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am Adonai, your God. That's beautiful.
Citizens of what?
Israel.
The citizens of Israel, like we're grafted in, so almost like we're legal aliens. And those that don't profess to believe in God and are not really believing in God are illegal aliens.
They're just aliens. Oh, illegal. I like that. I like that. So, on the first day is to be a holy convocation. You know how I like in Sukkot 7 days, and then on the 8th day, I don't have the earrings on, but on the 8th day, turn it sideways is infinity, right? Welcome to the alley of Escalon. And kicking up all the dirt. Okay. Okay, they're gone. Thank you. So isn't it interesting that on the first day is a day of rest? And then there's 7 days, right? But on the 8th day is a day of rest? It just hit me this year that what I've been telling you is I believe that each of the days, 7 days represented a week, right?
Yep.
7th being like a Shabbat, right? He didn't call a holy convocation for the 7th day. He called it for the 8th day. The first day when he created everything and put man in Eden, was that not a rest? Was that not Shabbat? Was that not communion with God, relationship, peace, rest, communion, fellowship, all the things Shabbat should be? And isn't it interesting? We're waiting for millennium, the 7th, but on the 8th day is eternity. Shabbat. Holy Convocation. I just love it. What a picture. Okay, moving on. That was my epiphany for the week. All right. So Sukkot, the themes of Sukkot are joy, delight, Thanksgiving. You know, our Thanksgiving, our American Thanksgiving is based on Sukkot. Okay? That's what the Pilgrims celebrated. Sukkot. They didn't do it the third Thursday of November. That was a creation of our President Lincoln. Okay? And did he do wrong? No. It's based on something scriptural. He did good. Let's give thanks to God. So he he made a nationwide holiday, but it's based on a biblical one. So let's not forget the biblical one. Besides, are we going to be doing it throughout? In Revelation, doesn't it say year after year during millennium, we're going to be going up for Sukkot? It does. Might as well practice. Oh, you know the Moedim, appointed times? They're all practices. They're all rehearsals. Dress rehearsals, if you will, for the real thing. Isn't that something? It's like, there she is. I know, and then the plant. Oh my goodness. Arrangement is everything, you know. Huh? I'm telling you. It's also reading of Torah. You think, and if you think that this is a man's invention, I'm going to show you it's not. Okay? And the 4 species, which we read, right? Did I read the 4 species? The fruit? The will, right? Okay. So I want to start in Deuteronomy of all places. And by the way, if you want a good book to read during Sukkot, Deuteronomy is the book you should read. Okay? Really, truly, Deuteronomy. I'm going to give you a reason why right now. So Deuteronomy chapter 31. And actually, before we do that, let's do the Shema. You all remember, right? You can do it. You know it. You have it memorized. Okay, ready? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kavod, Malchuto, Leolam Vayed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levecha, uv'chol nefshecha, ובכל מאודיך, ואהבת לרעך כמוך. ישוע הוא המשיח, הוא אדון על כל. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one, united. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your being, your essence, and your resources. And you shall love your neighbor as yourself, right? It's the greatest commandment. All the commands are summed up in that one. Yeshua, he is Lord. He is Messiah, Lord of all, right? Okay. All right, Deuteronomy 32. Actually, 31 first. I'm going to read just a couple verses. Verse 6. Well, if I can find it. Oh, Chazak. That's what it says. Chazak. Be strong. Amati. Be bold. Don't be afraid or frightened of them. Listen to this very carefully. Do not be afraid or frightened. Ever. Ever. Why? For Adonai, your God, is going with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. If you memorize no other verses, please memorize that one. Okay? Be strong. Chazak, Amati. Be strong. Be bold. Don't be afraid or frightened. for Adonai your God is going with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. He will never abandon his own. His word says so. He's not a man that he can lie, okay? All right, I'm going to skip to verse 8 real fast. Verse 8 says, but Adonai, it is he who will go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you, so don't be afraid or downhearted. And if you read 7, it says, be strong, be bold. Oh my goodness. Let's go to verse 10. At the end of every 7 years, during the festival of Sukkot, in the year of Shemitah. What is Shemitah? 7th year is the year of release. Is it? 50 is a jubilee. But every 7th year is like a Sabbath year. Okay? Every 7th year is a Shemitah. It's a Sabbath year. When all Israel have to come to appear in the presence of Adonai in the place he will choose. You are to read this Torah before all Israel so that they can hear it. Oh, okay, so what are you supposed to do at Sukkot? Gather together on the Shemitah and read this Torah. I told you, Deuteronomy is a good book to read during Sukkot, okay? It's right here. Assemble the people, men, women, the little ones. That means you, Charlie. Yeah. And the foreigners you have in your town, so that they can hear, learn, fear Adonai your God, and take care to obey the words of this Torah. And so that their children who have not known can hear and learn to fear Adonai your God for as long as you live in the land you are crossing to the Jordan to possess. Have you ever heard the Song of Moses? This is it. So it's Deuteronomy 32, but it is the Song of Moshe. Okay? Hear, O heavens, as I speak. Listen, earth, to the words from my mouth. May my teaching fall like rain. May my speech condense like dew, like light rain on blades of grass or showers on growing plants. For I will proclaim the name of Adonai. Come, declare the greatness of our God, the rock. Remember we studied rock not too many Sabbaths ago? I think a month ago we talked about the rock. His work is perfect, for all his ways are just. A trustworthy God who does no wrong. He is righteous and straight. He is not corrupt. The defect, defect, is in his children. A crooked and perverted generation. You foolish people, so lacking in wisdom. Is this how you repay Adonai? He is your Father who made you his. It was he who formed you and prepared you. You have to understand this is prophetic. These things haven't happened to Israel yet. He's speaking prophetically because God says to Moses before this, the people are going to go in, but I already know what they're going to do. I already know their hearts. Remember, he's outside of time. He already knows they're going to rebel. So this is a song of Moses, but it's also prophetic. And most all of this has already taken place from our point of view, not from his point of view. Okay? Remember how the old days were. Think of the years through all the ages. Ask your father, he will tell you. Your leaders too, they will inform you. When Elyon gave each nation its heritage, when he divided the human race, he assigned the boundaries of peoples according to, the Septuagint says, Ben Elohim, sons of God. Okay? This one says sons of Israel. When the nations were divided at Babel, there was no Israel. Okay? But Adonai's share was his own people, Yaakov his allotted heritage. He found his people in desert country, in a howling wasted wilderness. He protected him and cared for him, guarded him like the pupil of his eye, like an eagle's that stirs up her nest, hovers over her young, spreads out her wings, takes them, and carries them as she flies. Adonai alone led his people. No alien. Didn't Al just mention aliens? Well, not only alien people, no alien God was with him. He made them ride on the heights of the earth. They ate the produce of the fields. He had them suck honey from the rocks and olive oil from the crags, curds from the cows and milk from the sheep. With lamb fat, rams from Bashan, and goats with the finest wheat flour. And you drank sparkling wine from the blood of grapes. But Yeshurun is another name. It's like a nickname. You're only going to find it like 4 times in Scripture. It means Israel. Okay? Grew fat. You'll see it 3 times in Deuteronomy, and I think once in Isaiah. He abandoned God his maker. He scorned his rock, the rock, his salvation. They roused him to jealousy with alien gods, provoked him with abominations. They sacrificed to demon non-gods, gods that they had never known, new gods that had come up lately, which your ancestors had not feared. You ignored the rock who fathered you. You forgot God who gave you birth. Adonai saw and was filled with scorn at his sons and daughters' provocation. And he said, I will hide my face from them and see what will become of them, for they are a perverse generation, untrustworthy children. They aroused my jealousy with a non-God and provoked me with their vanities, their breath, their emptiness. I will arouse their jealousy with a non-people. Believers don't belong to any one nation. So if there's going to be jealousy, it's going to come from hopefully us, right? And provoke them with a vile nation. For my anger has been fired up. It burns the depths of Sheol, devouring the earth and its crops, kindling the very roots of the hills. I will heap disasters on them and use up all my arrows against them. Fatigued by hunger, they will be consumed by fever and bitter defeat, and I will send them fangs of wild beasts and the poison of reptiles crawling in the dust. Outside, the sword makes parents childless. Inside, there is panic, as young men and girls alike are slain, sucklings and graybeards together. I considered, this is God's point of view, I considered putting an end to them, erasing their memory from the human race, but I feared the insolence of their enemy. Feared that their foes would mistakenly think, we ourselves accomplished this. Adonai had nothing to do with it. Is this why we say, for your name's sake? No. Yeah. Remember, grace, for your name's sake. Save us for your name's sake. Your reputation is what we're saying. When we say name, we mean reputation. They are a nation without common sense. They are void of counsel or advice or purpose or plan, no prudence, utterly lacking in discernment. If they were wise, they could figure it out and understand their destiny. After all, how can one chase 1,000 or 2 put to 10,000 to rout unless their rock sells them to their enemies, unless Adonai hands them over? Our enemies have no rock like our rock. Even they can see that. Rather, their vine is from Sodom, burning, from the fields of Amorah, which is submersion. Their grapes are poisonous, bitter, vile. Their clusters are bitter. Their wine is snake poison. The cruel venom of vipers isn't hidden with me, sealed in my storehouses. Vengeance and payback are mine, for the time when their foot slips, for the day of their calamity is coming soon. Their doom is rushing upon them. Yes, Adonai will judge his people, taking pity on his servants. When he sees that their strength is gone, that no one is left, slave or free, then he will ask, where are their gods, the rock in whom they trusted, who ate the fat of their sacrifices and drank the wine of their drink offering? Let him get up and help you. Let him protect you. See now that I am he, and there is no God beside me. I put to death, and I make alive. Do you hear the Amati in there? I wound, and I heal. No one saves anyone from my hand. For I lift my hand to heaven and swear, as surely as I am alive forever, if I sharpen my flashing sword and set my hand to judgment, I will render vengeance to my foes, repay those who hate me. Is that day coming?
Yep.
Very soon. I will make my arrows drunk with blood. My sword will devour flesh, the blood of the slain and the captives, flesh from the wild-haired heads of the enemy. Now here's the part I really, really, really like. Sing out, you nations, about his people. It says, rejoice, O heavenly ones. Okay? That's another way to say it. A rejoice. Bow down before him. For he will avenge the blood of his servants. He will render vengeance to his adversaries and make atonement for the land of his people. So the last 1, 2, 3, 4 verses of this song have yet to be fulfilled. But the others, can we say and look and say, yeah, all of that happened, just like he said, right? Just like he said. Okay, that's the Song of Moses. But what I read to you in 31, did it say, read the law, the Torah, right? So let's find out how is reading Torah joy? Okay, now we'll go to Psalms. Yeah, positive. Psalm 1, actually. You want to come sit with me? Huh? Here, decorate my case. There you go. All right, thank you. How blessed are those who reject the advice of the wicked. Does wicked mean like the worst person in the world?
It means an evil person.
Not necessarily. Oh, no. Wicked is the absence of good. So you can use any word you want to here. You can say, how blessed are those who reject the advice of my friend who wants to lead me astray. That's wicked. Right? Something that's contrary to God. Okay, so what was one of the words that I told you was delight, right? Delight and joy. Okay. Verse 2. Their delight is in Adonai's Torah. On his Torah, they meditate day and night. They are like trees planted by streams. They bear their fruit in season. Their leaves never wither. Everything they do, what? Succeeds. Okay, jump to Psalm 40, verse 9. Doing your will, my God, is my what? Your Torah is in my innermost being. Okay. Psalm 119. Okay, now, so there's two things I'm going to tell you to read during Sukkot. Deuteronomy, all of it, the whole thing, and Psalm 119. Psalm 119 has got to be my favoriteest psalm. It's the longest, but it's my favorite. How happy are those whose way of life is blameless, who live by what? Torah of Adonai. How happy are those who observe his? Who seek him wholeheartedly. They do nothing wrong but live by his. You laid down your precepts, statutes. Is that's part of it too, right? For us to observe with care. May my ways be steady in observing your. Then I will not be put to shame, since I will have fixed my sight on all your mitzvot. I thank you with a sincere heart as I learn your righteous rulings. I will observe your laws. Don't completely abandon me. How can a young man keep his way pure? By guarding it according to your word. I seek you with all my heart. Don't let me stray from your mitzvot. I treasure your word in my heart so that I won't sin against you. Blessed are you, Adonai. Teach me your laws. I proclaim with my mouth all the rulings you have spoken. I rejoice in the way of your instruction. More than in any kind of wealth, I will meditate on your precepts and keep my eyes on your ways. I will find my delight in your regulations, and I will not forget your. Did I make my point? David is a man after God's own heart. He is a fierce warrior. He's so much so that he can't build the temple because his hands have been covered with blood, but yet he's still a man after God's own heart. And what does he write? Songs. About his delight being God's law, Torah, mitzvah, ruling, instructions. We have rules. We have rules for little ones. Are there rules? Do you have to live by 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 rules? Oh, how absurd. There's another word in my head. How absurd that the law is no more. He's a God of order. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Just because I go through the stop sign and I get a ticket, I paid it. Oh, well, I already paid it, so now I can run the stop sign all the time. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So the law, let's keep going. All right. 119, 47. I will delight myself in your mitzvah, which I have loved. I'm going to skip over to verse 54. Your laws have become my songs whenever I make my home. Oh, sing them. Verse 70. Their hearts are as thick as fat, but I take delight in your Torah. Show me pity and I will live, for your Torah is my delight. Verse 77. Let me see. 92. If your Torah had not been my delight, I would have perished in my distress. Have you ever been in such a distress? I tell you, I've been in a deep, dark hole. What did I cling to? God is not a man that he can lie. He is there. He will never leave me nor forsake me nor abandon me. As pitch black and cold as it was, I was not alone. I felt utterly alone. I was not. His word is true. If your Torah had not been my delight, I would have perished in my distress. That was 92. Your righteousness is eternal righteousness, and your Torah is truth. 142. You are close by, Adonai, and all your mitzvot are truth. 151. Oh, this one. Highlight this one. 160. The main thing. Remember, I've said, we've heard this said before. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing about your word is that it's true, and all your just rulings last forever. I hate falsehood. I detest it, but I love your Torah. I praise you 7 times a day because of your righteous rulings. Those who love your Torah have great peace. Nothing makes them stumble. Let my lips speak praise because you teach me your laws. I long for your deliverance, Adonai, and your Torah is my delight. Isn't delight supposed to be part of Sukkot, joy? And didn't part of the instructions from Moses for Sukkot were to read the Torah? Read it. Deuteronomy will sum it up for you, okay? You can read Deuteronomy. Every Sukkot, you can. I read it one morning. I know, you all don't get up at 3, but I read it one morning. But you can read it through. You got it 7 days. And then the 8th day. Okay. All right. Let's go to the New Testament. Because, maybe I'm not telling you the truth. Maybe it doesn't agree with the New Testament. Romans chapter 7. Romans 7, 22. For in my inner self, I completely agree with God's Torah, his instructions, his law. Let's go to Galatians chapter 2. Chapter 2. Verse 16. I'm going to jump all over the place right now. Even so, we have come to realize that a person is not declared righteous by God on the ground of legalistic observance of Torah commands. I'm stopping. Because what have I been telling you? I've been telling you Torah, 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 right? Does Torah save me? No. Torah does not save me. What saves me? The blood. Grace and the blood. Chesed and the blood. Torah does not save me. It will make my life better if I live by it. It will give me stability because I'm on stable ground. I'm on a foundation of something. It's not constantly changing and shaking and moving. Okay? It is not on the grounds of legalistic observance of Torah commands, but through the Messiah, Yeshua's trusting what? Faithfulness. Therefore, we too have put our trust in Messiah Yeshua and become faithful to him in order that we might be declared righteous on the ground of the Messiah's trusting faithfulness and not on the ground of our legalistic observance of Torah commands. For on the ground of legalistic observance of Torah commands, no one will be declared righteous.
The Torah was pre-Jesus, people rely on forgiveness of their sins.
No, not for forgiveness of their sins. No.
The goats were the things that say the goats when they send the goats out once a year.
For Yom Kippur, the atonement that covered us.
So how did they deal with their sinful nature?
Through the sacrifice system. But that was the only part that was done. The only part that was finished and totally finished in the sacrificial system was with Yeshua. Okay, but the law still stands. The law still is a guideline. It's a teaching. It's rules for conduct. We have rules everywhere. Any country you go to, you've got to know their rules. You've got to know the rules of the road. You've got to know the rules of a house. And each house is different. You've got to know the mandates of and the rules of a city, the codes of a city code. And every city is different. They have their own rules. And then you fall under county rules. And then you fall under state rules or government rules or country rules. You fall under religious rules. So if you belong to certain denominations, you have what's called theology, which is their doctrines, their rules. Everywhere we go, there are rules. Everywhere. So to think that God's rules are done away with is absurd. Absurd. Totally absurd. All right, let's move to 1 John. So you know that the works of Torah don't save you, correct? So why do we follow Torah then if it doesn't save us, if there's not a benefit there? So go to 1 John chapter 5, verse 2. Here is how we know that we love God's children. When we love God, we also do what He commands. For loving God means obeying His commands. Moreover, His commands are not burdensome, because everything which has God as its Father overcomes the world. And this is what victoriously overcomes the world. Our what? Trust. Our trust. Who does not overcome the world if not the person who believes that Yeshua is the Son of God? All right, John chapter 14. I've only got a few more, I promise. John chapter 14, you all know where I'm going with this one. Verse 15, you should know it by heart. If you love me, you will keep my commands. Obey. Keep my commands, right? And then I will ask the Father, and He will give you another comforter, counselor like me, the Spirit of what? Truth, to be with you forever. So if you want a spirit of truth, obey His commands.
Well, if you believe God and you love God, the rules should be automatic.
So I loved my father. I did everything I possibly could not to disappoint my father. It wasn't that, oh, I can't do this. I don't want to disappoint my father. Therefore, I will follow his instructions. He told me to do this. This is what I'm going to do.
So it was your perspective.
Oh. Right? I don't want to disappoint my father. He's given us everything. Why would we disappoint him? Why do we mar his reputation?
But God designed those rules for our protection.
Yes. Yes.
Nothing bad about those rules.
Not from his point of view.
None of them. You might be denying the flesh.
Ooh. Might be denying the flesh, he says.
That's man's,
Yes.
that's man's rule,
Right.
not God's rule.
The I want. The I want. Right? The I want. The I want. So that's why I pray. What do I pray? God, make us want to obey you. Make us want to serve you. Make us want to. Right? Okay. All right. John, still chapter 13. I'm going to go to verse 34. I am giving you a new command, that you keep on loving each other in the same way that I have loved you. You are also to keep on loving each other. Everyone will know that you are my Talmudim, my disciples, by the fact that you have what? Love for one another. Just some of us. Let's see. Okay, today I'm not going to love you, but I'll love you. I'm not going to love you, but I'll love you. I'm not going to love you, but I'll love you. I'm not going to love you, but I'll love you. I'm not going to love you, but I'll love you. I think about loving you. I'm not. It doesn't work that way. And I'll tell you what. You really need to concentrate on loving the unlovable because they're the ones that need more love. The reason they're unlovable is they don't know love. Okay? The one that pushes the hardest, the one that's the most mouthy, the one that's right? Put them up. That's the one that needs more love. Kill them with kindness. My dad always told me. It's like heaping coals. That's scriptural. Heaping coals. Why did you love me? Because he loved me. That's the answer. Why did you? Because he loves me. And that's enough. Right? Okay.
Nothing hard to love someone that's a pagan, rule breaker, thief.
Such were we. He said it was awful hard to love someone who's a pagan and a thief and a what? Rule breaker. And such, as Paul says, were some of you. Okay? We need to love because he first loved us. He gave us grace. If we can't turn around and give grace and love, then I question whether we really allowed him to change us, right? Okay. 34. Yep, everyone will know that you are my Talmudim by the fact that you have love for one another, for each other, right? Okay. Back to, let's see, chapter 15 in John, verse 9. Well, actually, I'm going to start at 7. Actually, I'm going to start at 5. I am the vine and you are the branches. Those who stay united with me and I with them are the ones who bear much fruit, because apart from me, you can't do a dadgum thing. I added some words. That's right, dadgum. You can't do a thing. Unless a person remains united with me, he is thrown away like a branch and dries up. I've thrown a lot of branches away this week. Such branches are gathered and thrown into the fire where they are burned up. If you remain united with me, and my words with you, then you can ask whatever you want. According what? Because you're in his will. Okay, don't take it out of context. I can't just ask for whatever I want. And it will happen for you. This is how my Father is glorified, and you're bearing much fruit. This is how you will prove to be my Talmudim. Just as my Father has loved me, I too have loved you. So stay in my love. If you keep my commands, you will what? Stay in my love. How do you want to stay in God's love? Okay, whether you feel like it or not. Okay. Just as I have kept my Father's commands and stay in his love. I have said this to you so that my joy may be in you and your what? There's your joy for Sukkot. So again, now I ask you, have any of you experienced joy this week? I have. Every morning. Every morning. Then the day comes and things kind of go wonkers, but joy isn't dependent upon how I feel. Please hear me. We think joy and happiness is how we feel. Joy is not how I feel. Of course, sometimes my face still needs to reflect that. But joy is not a feeling. Delight is not a feeling.
Here's a question.
Okay, question.
Do you guys think it would be easier if there was no devil?
His question is, would it be easier if there was no devil?
No, because you're self-human.
Thank you. I would say, hell no. Because man's heart is evil in every way, and where are we headed towards? Actually, I think we blame him too much. We give him too much credit. We give him way too much credit. So, let me say this one more time. I have said this to you so that my joy may be in you, and your joy be complete. And it is complete if you keep my commands, you will stay in my love. Okay? This is my command, that you keep on loving each other as I have loved you. Okay? All right. Did I do Romans? Romans. 2 more, I promise. 2 more. It's getting hot out here. Romans. It's hot out here. Okay, Romans chapter 13. Starting at verse 8. Don't owe anyone anything except to love one another. For whoever loves his fellow human being has fulfilled Torah. But, go ahead and do away with Torah. Maybe that's why we don't love people. We've done away with the Torah. Well, that's okay, never mind. For the commandments, don't commit adultery, don't murder, don't steal, don't covet, and any others are summed up in this one rule. What is it? Love your neighbor as yourself. Love does not do harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fullness of Torah. Ecclesiastes. If you don't want to find it, I'm only going to read one verse. 12:13. Here is the final conclusion. Now that you have heard everything, fear God and keep his mitzvot. This is what being human is all about. We know Psalm 19. The law of the Lord is perfect. I don't like the word converting. Reviving the soul. The testimony of the Lord is sure, making wise the simple. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter also than the honey, than the honeycomb. Psalm 19. It's a song. Sing it. Learn it. It's beautiful. I want to read that to you. This is our praise today. Psalm 19. 19. 1:9. For the leader, a psalm of David. The heavens declare the glory of God. The dome of the sky speaks of the work of his hands. And you can see the dome of the sky when you're under your sukkah, right? Okay. Every day it utters speech. Every night it reveals knowledge. Without speech, without a word, without their voices being heard, their line goes up through all the earth, and their words to the end of the world. In them he places a tent for the sun, which comes out like a bridegroom from the bridal chamber, with delight like an athlete to run his race. It rises at one side of the sky, circles around to the other side, and nothing escapes its heat. Here's the part. The Torah of Adonai is perfect, restoring the inner person. The instruction of Adonai is sure, making wise the thoughtless. The precepts of Adonai are right, rejoicing the heart. The mitzvah of Adonai is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Adonai is clean, enduring forever. The rulings of Adonai are true. They are righteous altogether. More desirable than gold, than much fine gold, also sweeter than honey, or drippings from the honeycomb. Isn't that what I just sang? Through them your servant is warned, in obeying them there is great reward. Who can discern unintentional sins? Cleanse me from hidden faults. Isn't that our prayer? Also keep your servant from presumptuous sins, so that they won't control me. Those are those presumptuous sins. Look that word up, so that they won't control you. Then I will be blameless and free of great offense. May the words of my mouth, that's the next one, and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord. Right here it says, may the words of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart be acceptable in your presence. Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. That's Torah. That's delight. That's joy. That's Sukkot. Okay? Are you burning up? You're in the direct sun. She's got it all, man, right there. Okay, stand. Please. You want to come see me? You want to see me or Nana? You want Nana? Okay. Okay, she wants Nana. Okay. Woo! All right. Yeah, go over to the shade. There you go. V'yirechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha Yair Adonai panav elecha v'hunecha Yisai Adonai panav elecha v'yeshlemcha shalom. May the Lord bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. Shabbat shalom.